Oh, let me pull my chair in.
3, 2, 1. Oh, it didn't go through the trying to reconnect.
You fixed it?
Oh no, when you turn the Wi-Fi off,
Yeah.
it says it has to reconnect. But I
Yeah,
didn't see
because
that.
when I was every time I came up here, it threw me off who was on. Then it picked it up again. So here we are, John. Another day in paradise.
I had to reconnect.
Oh, did you? I hope this is connected. It's okay.
Seems to be.
Yeah, well, you're right next to me, so hopefully the connection is good.
You want to go up higher?
It's up to you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you can go up higher if you want.
Hi, Candy. Good to see you.
We're just sitting up here. Boy, you probably have the cold weather too, Candy. It's extremely cold here again. Cold, and I kept changing my clothes. I have this really heavy wool sweater.
Hi, Judy. Good to see you.
Hi, Judy. We're just waiting for the warm-up. And normally it's very warm up here, but it doesn't even feel warm up here, does it?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not chill. It's not cold. It's just, I'd like it to be a little warmer. The split, which I guess they can't see.
They said yes. Brr.
Can
no,
they
they can't see it. Hi, Krista. Good to see you.
There's a heating and air conditioning unit.
Thank you, Krista.
Back up there. Up there, right, John?
To your right.
Look at the thing.
To your right.
Here?
To your right.
To my right. Yeah, that's where I was pointing.
Yeah.
To them, for them to see it. Heats and air conditions up here.
Judy says Missouri has lots of snow and ice, down to 4 degrees.
Yikes, that's how it is here. It was snowing off and on all day. Just flurries, not like it just coated the...
It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock? Oh, jeez. I'm just hanging out. Hey.
Hey.
It's Marilyn and John with Done by You. Done
What?
by me.
Oh.
Done by who? Done by me.
me.
Done by me. Coming to you live from Magnolia Hall. So that was the practice run. So, hey, it's Marilyn and John with Done by Me. Coming to you live from Magnolia Hall on the Delaware.
Well, that's crazy.
I'm still like in a fog today. I never even... Oh, I did walk over to the barn and back one time. That was
Once or twice? Once?
Oh, once, yeah. Once. I
Hi,
think
Jennifer,
once.
good to see
no,
you.
maybe, I don't know. One time, I think, to get a couple things for tonight. And then, I don't even remember what I got. Oh, I know what I got. But trying to figure out my craft, and I have to practice sometimes. I'm just... These things I made before, but it's been a while, and I just wanted to make sure I could do it. I don't know. Sometimes I don't have the confidence in myself with my project. But I hope you got the...
Hi, Nelda. Good to see you. Hi, Bernice. Good to see you. Hi, Loretta. Good to see you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I was going to be...
Candy says, hey, love that teacher's voice, even though it scared me a tad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be scary. Thanks, Bernice.
I taught for many years, and before teaching, I've always
Lori
been...
with an eye. Good to see you.
Hi, Lori. I've been extremely shy. When I was young, I told you I was really, really shy, and I'd hide in the closet when we had company, and when I went to school, I skirted around in the background. I was so shy. But teaching with the kids, for me, I was always comfortable. And so I would have 20-some kids scurrying around cooking, and you project your voice so the kids can hear you. So I have a loud voice now. And I used at one time my teacher loudness and scared John when we were first dating, right, John?
Yes. Froze in my tracks.
Yeah, froze in his tracks. But yeah, I tend to enunciate and project. But even with that, sometimes there's confusion. I remember one time I said to a student something that she was very astute. She said something, and I said, well, that's very astute. And all of a sudden, this group of girls, why do those lights keep shaking? This group of girls were really angry with me, and I couldn't figure out why. And then it turned out that they thought I said she was a stooge. And I'm like, no, I said you were astute. And so I said, here, look it up in the dictionary. I always had them look up words in the dictionary. And you try to have them learn all kinds of things in life, just not necessarily the subject you're teaching.
Hi, Ada. Good to see you.
But there were times...
How about you? We're good.
There were times I did the after-school program, and I might have 50, 75 kids in a large cafeteria, and I'm getting them to like do the dragon dance and weave around, or you know, different things that were part of the after-school program that I was doing, and they all heard me, right, John?
Yeah, they did. Hi, Nora. Good to see you. She said, hey, beautiful Marilyn.
Hey.
Hi, Julia.
A lot of times
Hi, Julie.
I don't respond.
Our condolences. She buried her grandmother.
Oh, who did?
Julie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Nora.
I try to give... during the day, I watch all the crafters, and I think everybody really does a great job.
John stories when you were having meetings and was scaring me.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda Farmer. Good to see you.
But, now I forgot. So I watched all the crafters, and everybody does a great job, and I really enjoyed all the bunnies and the Easter things and the carrot, and it's a lot of fun. But I don't always see the comments because now today I did my practice run for tonight, and I'm sorting things and putting things away. So if I don't comment, if you see me come on to a live and I don't comment, that's just because... I usually only hear the comments, and I don't necessarily read it because I'm doing other things at the same time. But I gave a clue tonight, and I was going to be more vague about the clue that the last time, what did I say? I was...
Wiring?
I was on pins and needles, so that was when we did the pin cushion. So I was just going to say I'm really wired up for tonight's thing, but then I did show the wire also. So until people get more of my idea of how I do things, I figured I'll give sometimes a little better clue than I usually do. So
railroad tracks.
Oh yeah, that'll be in a bit. So I was going to show some jewelry somewhere along the line. There are all kinds of things I'm so excited about showing you, and I made some piles in the room here of little ideas for projects, and then I make memos on my phone and all. And everybody, I guess, has heard all the churning about what's going on with Facebook, and John and I are the same as Giselle. We're retired, we're old, we're not monetized. We're just here to have a nice time and be with friends. And so it's a little unnerving what's going on and how we're going to save the videos. I would really hate to lose them. A lot of them, John and I just get joy out of them. And I'm not saying this as morbidity. I'm saying it as I'm always one that analyzes. And I thought, well, if something happens to one of us, the other ones have these silly videos that they can go back and look at and, you know, get some joy and fond memories. Plus, as we get older, it's fun to look back at memories. So it's not the craft that we're motivated to watch. It's just the fun that we've had with our friends and the comments that we enjoy. So we're trying to navigate that right now. We're not going to be leaving. We'll be someplace. It's just figuring out
good to see you.
What we're going to do. And we're in the same position a lot of the crafters are. So anyway, one of the ideas...
Hi, Donna. Good to see you.
I had, I was going to make something jewelry. And then I said, well, I have all these projects to finish and all, and I'm not sure. So let me get my wire out. So this is that really thin jewelry wire.
Candy wants to know, can you start reposting some, especially the early ones and the spa one?
Yeah, I can post them. But you can look at them too. You can just go back. If you hit where the videos are, you can scroll and see all of them. And we're going to try to figure out how to save them. But we're not good with technology. And let's see. And we need somebody. We're going to have to hire somebody to help us with what needs to be done. So it's a little bit stressful, and I don't want to lose sleep over it because this is supposed to be something fun. But I also don't want to stop doing it, and I don't want to lose the old videos. So it'll work out. It's just figuring it all out. So I'm cutting. It's the really fine wire like you use for jewelry making, and I don't know whether you can see it. Can you see it on the thing there? It's the really fine wire. I'm cutting 5 pieces 9 inches long, but it can be any number of pieces, any inches long.
You barely see it.
Okay. When you get further, you'll see. I'm not one to YouTube anything or figure anything out. I did make these
good to see you.
And similar things when we had the store. I also took beading classes, taught beading classes. When we go through some of the things, you'll see I've done so many things over 65-year period of time. I started taking fine art lessons when I was about 7 or 8. I had a friend that I talked into taking the classes with me, and she went once and she said, "This is not fun." But it was actually college art students that were in there, and I was only like 7-year-old. And I walked there. It was like a mile from my house, and I don't know how I had the nerve to go. But I would sit with the sketch pad. She told you what you needed, and I think charcoal pencil and like that gum eraser and stuff. And you would take from a pile she had, like a circle, and you would draw the circle on your paper, and then you would have to shade it like how they showed you on this little index card. So there had to be a stack of like 100 index cards, and you were to do all of them. I never got past the index cards because then my mother said, I think it was 50 cents for the art lesson, that it was a hardship for me to continue. But
hi Nadine, good to see you. Candy says, please don't use your fabric scissors on the wire cutting.
No, these are not fabric scissors. These are like a craft scissor. And I tried to use the wire clippers I had, but they wouldn't cut this wire, so I don't know, it's probably lousy wire. So I have 5 9-inch pieces, but like I said, I'm just trying so they're kind of uniform. And then I was going to use these beads, which are like even smaller than a seed bead, and they're really old ones. And I don't know, I hope somebody did not take a beaded handbag apart. I know my one grandmother...
Candy said your amazing curiosity overrode your shyness.
Yeah, and I wanted to, I just really wanted to do art when I was young. So these are really tiny beads, or even smaller.
She'd like to see the video you made the wall decoration with yarn if you come across it. She can't seem to find it.
Oh, really?
I remember that.
Yeah, the weaving. But these are even tinier than seed beads. They're really old. They were from my grandparents' basement, I think.
Jesus, seems like we're always a burden.
Yeah. But
he says, I knew Marilyn would never use good scissors, just wanted others to know.
Yeah. But I have by accident. So what I'm going to do, the one end I'm just kind of crushing so the beads don't come off. I just make like a little curl. And this is a trick I learned and then I've taught. These are not the smallest beads.
Hey Bernice, good to see you. She wants
can
to
tell
know,
'em.
did you make that doll that's behind
No,
you?
a friend of mine made it. Isn't it really cute? I've had it probably 50 years. But these are like a little bit bigger than the seed beads, and I don't know what you call them. I have so many jewelry making things, I haven't gone through that. So the wire is really stiff. So this works the same. I did like some crocheting that looked like tatting, but it was crocheting. And you put beads on it as you work, and you use the same technique for that. And it's really weird because what you do, I have my beads in the glitter tray, because then I can pour them back into the container.
Hey, Michelle, good to see you.
So what I do, hi Michelle, I take this and hold it like as if I'm holding a needle, but I'm holding the wire with the twist on the end. And then I just randomly start stabbing into the pile.
Bernice
see,
loves it.
I already got 4 beads on there.
The doll.
Oh, thanks. I already have 4 beads on there. You'll like all this stuff when you go through. You'll either love my stuff or hate it. But rather than try to do each bead with my shaky hands and my poor eyesight, I just stab into the pile. And those real tiny ones, they just went right on there. So each time I'm pulling up, I have 3 or 4 of them on here. And it just makes it easier, because otherwise you're trying to find it, and I'm half blind and shaky, and there I did 1. But this way, I put all the beads together, and sometimes you come up with none, and sometimes you'll get 3 or 4. But
Hey,
you
Sandy,
just...
good to see you. She says she's happy to spend time with you tonight.
Oh, thanks. So I'm just going to stab in here and get the beads. So I remember when I was young, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, except that you needed to be able to play the piano, where I went to school to be a teacher, because every teacher had a elementary school teacher had a piano in their classroom, and they all played, and I'm like, I guess I can't be a teacher because I don't know how to play the piano. And then later...
Julie's grandmom lived to be 101.
Wow. Later, when I was in school, everybody seemed so smart, and I did not enjoy foreign language. And I said, when I was picking what I wanted to do, I don't want to need to know a foreign language. And I remember back then, everybody, the people that were going into the medical field, and see, I already have all them on there just by the stab.
Judy said she stuck Logan in the snow and it went up to his waist.
So I'm going to do, yeah, be careful he doesn't get lost. One time, when John was letting one of our dogs out that was really small, she was a teacup dachshund, he shoved her out in the snow out the door, because my backyard was fenced in, and she sunk down and he couldn't see her. He had to quick dig to try to find her. And then...
Hi, Wayne. Good to see you. He says they have beading bowl spinners available to help bead the tiny seed beads.
Oh, really? 11, okay. So we have more than... So I want about 3 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. And again, you might pick something different.
Hi, Randy. Good to see you.
So
it is cold.
So now I undo that little twisty end. And I'm sure, Wayne, you have all kinds of knowledge and techniques. These are very crude, primitive things. But when we had the business down the shore, I used this technique for a lot of jewelry making, because I taught classes too, and I took classes. But I use this for making a lot of ornaments and things, and you'll see what I'm making. So I put the 2 ends together, and I'm just going to twist up tight. So now I have a little loop, and it's twisted, and I have about 3 inches. It's nothing is exact. you know, people count out beads and all that. Like I said, I don't watch YouTube or watch any of that. I just did this on my own, and I did do a lot of jewelry making and jewelry making classes. Down the shore, they have awesome library, and classes are only a couple dollars each. And so, where were they, about $5 each? So they post what classes they're going to have. You have to go to the library to get the post. Now maybe things are online. And they open it up just like one day. And that day you got to rush over and get in line. They only take so many people. You have to pay cash for the class, and the prices are really nominal. Now I'm not getting any.
Krista said she did that with, when she first got her dachshund, all you could see was his tail, because they always had big dogs.
Yeah, it's hard when you're not used to, and John wasn't used to dogs at all. But you went and you signed up. Now, once you signed up, you were committed. You could not cancel, and nobody could go in your place. You had to show ID for buying the ticket and when you went. And if you missed a class, even if you were on your deathbed, you got a black mark against your name. So if you missed 2 classes, you were banned from ever taking a class again. So I don't know whether they're still rigid. That was, what, like 10 years ago, John?
Yeah.
The last time I took it was maybe about 10 years ago. But their classes were really good, and they were really inexpensive.
I guess they were in demand.
Yeah, they were in demand. And we had to show that we had a house down there and a store in order to go to it also. But that wasn't our full-time home, but because we paid taxes, I guess.
Hi, Sandy. Good to see you.
Now they're going to fight me. Well, now they're going on. So I'm just scooping them in. And like Wayne said, there's equipment for that. I told you I don't buy too much stuff. I did buy this tray for glitter. Oh, I might have more than my 3 inches. A little more. That's okay. But I did take this crochet class, which was really neat, and it looks similar to tatting. And you put all these beads on, and you had to pick them up on a needle, and that's what where I learned. So this is a Victorian style that I'm doing. This is really a very beginner kind of a thing. Now I've made all kinds of things in the past with the beads too. I made a spider web and a spider a couple years ago. I made one spider web that was beads and wire, and then I made one spider web that was, what was that called, John? Nail art?
I think so.
String art, that's what
String
it was
art,
called. The spider web was string art, and the spider was wire. That was, if you go back, it was around Halloween time, and then actually that was for Mrs. Spider's Serendipitous Soiree. I have fun sometimes just finding words, and that was...
flower petals.
Yep, Candy, you're right. And this was very popular. You would see, they made flowers out of all kinds of things, out of hair, and I think they were, the hair flowers were made for, like, what would you call it? A memorial or something for a person that passed. And they made, when George Washington passed, they gave people a piece of his coffin, wooden coffin, and a piece of his hair. When my great-great-grandfather made his marble sarcophagus.
Jennifer says, I love these, Marilyn. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm thinking of all these things. My brain always races all over.
Yeah, I was just thanking him.
Oh, I thought you were correcting me.
No, not at all.
Thank you, because I get so deep in
Yeah,
thought,
I know,
and my
you're
brain,
not paying attention. That's
my
why
brain-
I thanked her.
my brain wanders terribly.
And you're getting
But-
hearts.
Oh, thanks for the hearts, guys. But it's really neat, some of the things that in the Victorian times they made. They made jewelry that had people's hair in it, and it was a beautiful gold brooch, and then it had braided hair inside. But let me go
Jennifer
here.
says you are an amazing teacher.
Let me get a little bit more in here. But these can be very involved, and I'm sure you can YouTube them and see. When I took the
She is, Jennifer.
crochet class, people were making all kinds of flowers and things too with the beading and crocheting and all. But my vision has gotten such in my tremors that it made it a little more challenging. But this is a very, so again, it's about 3 inches. It's not, I'm not being exact. But some of these flowers with the wires even, you can really get elaborate with, and you can go online and look at YouTube and all. I just generally try to figure things out myself, but I thought, let me make a very simple one. So I'm just twisting it near the beads, and I'm leaving this is about 3 inches, so each stem is about 3, each little branch off is about 3 inches to get the 9 inches.
So now you want to know about the railroad tracks?
Oh, so now that you know your flowers, that these are little Victorian flowers, simulated, I was telling John, some flower stories, and my parents were very, very strict, very strict. But surprisingly, some of the things they allowed us to do are amazing. And my mom, when she was annoyed with us, she'd tell us to go play on this busy highway, so you could just kind of understand. But anyway, I was allowed to walk along the railroad tracks. That was right near our house. And so, I don't know whether you, when you were young, had railroad tracks near where you lived, but back then there would be the most beautiful wild flowers, wild roses. The
Hi,
roses
Craft
were...
Cottage. Good to see you.
Hello.
I don't know who that is.
Well, ask.
What's your first name, your Craft Cottage? It seems funny, though.
Yeah, that's okay.
Candy says, don't you think crafts, especially like you do, really make you appreciate other exquisite work and items?
Oh, it does. So there used to be these roses, and they weren't like all petaled up like the roses that you grow in your garden. They were flat. What?
It's Giselle.
Oh, I didn't know the name of her page, I guess. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't
terrible.
associate people's names. John saw beet red. Sorry about that. We don't always associate names with the crafters.
Yeah, that's terrible. Judy says, yep, played on them walking along the railroad.
And if you heard the train come, you would just dive off. But there were black-eyed Susans.
Hey, Lori, good to see you. She
Queen.
said she sprinkled. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Candy said they used to flatten pennies on the railroad tracks
Oh,
on
we
the way
went-
to school.
We wouldn't do that. That was... Although I told
Hi,
you
Susan.
somebody stole my
Good
doll.
to see you.
Stole my doll and put her on the railroad tracks. And she got run over. But, that was very traumatic. I didn't find out later. She was just stolen out of my doll coach. I was walking around the block. I was about 5 years old. And when I stopped at my friend's house and I turned around, somebody had stolen my doll. And my mother didn't tell me till I was an adult. I cried and cried for that doll. It had been my grandmother's doll when she was little. And...
Oh, it's embarrassing, Giselle. She says, no need to apologize.
John was lucky when he was working, he had an assistant that was really good on keeping him on top of names.
Yeah, I have a hard time with names,
And there were always like,
let alone pronouncing names.
there was always like, she wouldn't say, oh, John, or something. She would say, oh, did you see Mr. Smith got a new car? You know, she would somehow give him the name without making it realize that he didn't know. But, yeah, that dog got stolen and thrown on the railroad tracks and run over. I suspect who did it, but I'll never know for sure. But I cried for weeks for that doll being gone. She was like my favorite one. But anyway, I'd go along the railroad tracks and there was Queen Anne's lace and all kinds of flowers that I just thought were so beautiful. And, you know, back then we only had one pair of scissors, and of course you wouldn't be allowed to have the scissors or clippers or anything. And I remember biting those stems with my teeth. And now I think about Queen Anne's lace, and some of those I think are really toxic. But
well, thanks for your kindness, Giselle.
I would get those flowers in big bunches, and ferns, these beautiful, I still love those ferns, and if you saw, we have them around our house and in our yard. But I'm on my last one.
Oh boy.
I would go to the neighbors and sell the flowers. I'd go to door and sell the flowers. Now, I don't know how, when I was so shy, I could do that, have the nerve to do it, because if they came to visit at the house, I wouldn't, I'd hide from them, but I could go to their door and sell these darn flowers. I guess I wanted money so badly to get candy, or I don't even know, or try to get that $10 dress. If you remember the other day, I was talking about the Easter dresses, and
$8.30.
all that money went into my bank usually.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. I'm almost finished the last petal, John. So you can make like leaves this way. There's all kinds of things. I'll show you later.
Hey, Arlene, good to see you.
I tried to find a
She
few
said
things.
sorry she had a phone call. What you making?
Oh, I'm making, it's kind of a takeoff of a Victorian wired beaded flower. And I thought this is kind of fun, and you'll see how I use it at the end. I tried to find, because I had a bunch of things that I made like this. I didn't come across them, but as I come across them, I'll show you. So anyway, this is about the 3 inches, I think. Let me see.
That's convenient. You have a ruler there.
Yeah, it's more than 3 inches. Yeah, it's very convenient. I went and got a ruler, and I put it down because I thought, oh, I should measure them and make it look like I actually did something, then fly by the seat of my pants. And the ruler was here, and then I looked down, and this is the cutting board. And I looked down, and there's all measurements on here, and I'm like, boy, this is really nice to keep. And I was really careful. I didn't want to ruin it and all that. I'm one that a lot of times I don't wear things, or I don't...
Arlene says she's been making bunnies all day.
Oh, boy. You'll have to post a picture on Done by Me and You. So I have the 5 things here. But my grandmother, not the one that I was extremely close to, but my other grandmother, she had all these nice things that people had given her, and she had survived the Depression and all. And she marked everything with a felt tip on the back, big old magic marker. She marked everything on the back who gave it to her because she wanted them to get it back. And she always said things were too good to use. And a lot of times, I don't know whether you guys feel like this, but a lot of times you think, oh, I don't want to use that. I might get a stain on it, or I might break it. I better not use it. And I think I told you I had some really nice goblets, not family ones, but nice goblets. And I wouldn't do this with things that had been in my family. It's not the value, it's the meaning to me. But I had decent goblets, and then I had like dollar store goblets. And I wasn't using the good ones. So I decided one day, I'm going to just mix them together, and I won't know what I'm using, and I won't really look at them real well because I wasn't using the good ones. And so we had a picnic, and this was when we first moved in here. We had a picnic out in what we call the picnic grove, and I took the goblets out for wine, and somebody was helping us carry them back in, and they tripped in a groundhog hole and dropped the whole tray, and a couple of them broke. And they're like, oh, I hope they weren't the good ones. And I'm like, I don't know what they are, and I'm okay with it. We use the goblets, and what am I saving them for, you know? So a lot of times you save things, and with crafts too. Oh, this is like a really good supply. I'll save this for something special. Well, what's so special? Eventually, you know, it'll get old or rot, or when you're gone, it'll just go in a dumpster or whatever. So I put 3, and these are actually vintage pearls that were in my little jewelry box. I used them from something. They're old pearls. I just put 3 of them on there, but you could use whatever you want.
Let's just talk about what you made from the flowers.
Oh, yeah. So let me just get this, and then I'll talk about that. So I'm just kind of putting them together in a little cluster. I guess most of us didn't have a lot when we were young, and we treasured. I still have my first watercolors, which I'll show you when we get into that cabinet. I still have my first watercolors that I got for a gift, and I carefully wiped them off and did exactly how I was told to keep them. So I put I'm twisting all the stems together, and I now have the 3 petals and the little center pearls. And I'm just going to twist these wires together, and it's easier for me to use the pliers. I'm just going down. So one of the things I was telling John too, I was very fascinated with perfume. And my dad was a real romance person. And so he would buy my mom some pretty nice perfume. And boy, it always smelled so good. And I always wanted perfume. So what I did was, not the flowers that I cut along the railroad tracks and sold, but some of the roses from our yard as they got older. And make sure you're really careful with these wires, because if you step on them and got them in your foot, it's not a good thing. But
Giselle says she treasures so much I still have from my youth, along with many treasures that I inherited.
Yeah, that's how I am. Nothing is really of any value other than it's very meaningful to me. A friend of mine used to collect Hummels, and we were friends for like 40 years, this group of ladies and myself.
Hello, country family roots. Good to see you.
We were friends for over 40 years. We got together. We were in a junior women's club, and then we aged out of that club. And of course, we thought we were too youthful to go in the women's club at the time. And so we did our own club. So over 40 years we got together, and we all knew each other, and we knew what everybody, we took turns going to each house, and we knew what everybody liked and ate and drank and all that. And we would serve soda and snacks, and then later we'd go and have a beautiful table setting with coffee and desserts, and it was just really fun. But the one friend of ours collected Hummels, and I guess her parents went to Germany and brought her Hummels, and I'm not sure, and she inherited her mother's Hummels, and she was saying her daughter would really be fighting over the Hummels when she was gone. Well, you know what? My friend passed suddenly, and I think those Hummels just went to the curb. You know, and I saw somebody had them on Marketplace the other day, And what did I tell you they were? Like $5 or something.
Something like that. Hey, Sandra.
Like
that
$5.
Country family roots. Candy said, that's great advice. I, too, tend to save things, whether special fabric, satin ribbon, or things you receive from friends, and then you have to talk yourself into using it.
Yeah, and you're, oh, I'll
Giselle
get a
says,
stain on it.
I have my mother's love letters from Dad, dated 1938 to 39.
Oh, boy, I wish I had my mother's love letters. She burned them at one point because my brother sneaked up in the attic and read them, and my mom was all upset. So it's all twisted together. We have our flower. I don't know whether you can see it good. And, you know, you can bend the petals like you want. If you wanted them a little more shaped or a little more pointy to make this one look like a lily. You know, this is something you kind of fool with.
Thanks, Sandra.
And make what you like. So let me plug this in. I forgot. I said to John, make sure you remember.
Sandra says that's pretty.
Oh, thanks. Can I reach it? Can you plug it in for me, hon?
Oh, I forgot about it.
I can't.
Marlene says she has 10 Hummels and their value has dwindled way down.
Yeah, all that you people thought, oh, this will be my investment. The Beanie Babies and what are you hiding back there?
I don't know. I'm trying to get
John's crawling around back there. But these rooms up in the attic, they had to be bedrooms, but they were very rough, primitive when we moved here. And we haven't... What?
It's hearts.
Oh, thanks for the hearts, guys. They were pretty...
Candy says it looks dainty and precious.
Yeah,
and
so
he
it's
says
fun.
she still has a pearl necklace from her mom that her mom wore to marry her dad that has been almost 60 years ago.
Wow. And
It says it's nice.
you look at the good old pearls, and they knotted between each pearl. So you put a pearl on, and then you'd make a little knot and use a pin and slide the knot down and then put the next pearl. So it was time-consuming to string these. I tried stringing some things just for fun, not valuable pearls, but just some beads and knot them to see what it's like. So I could have left the stem much longer, and I could have wrapped it with that floral tape. This would look nice with white floral tape. And I could have made a stem, and I could have made a leaf like out of a green beads and made a leaf. It's just all up into your imagination. And myself, I like to create the things myself and not read directions and not see too many pictures. And yeah, it's plugged in. I have to check because
Marlene said she had hundreds of Beanie Babies and they had no value. She gave most of them to an orphanage.
Yeah, they were going to be a lot of people. Oh, I got to buy these Beanie Babies. They're going to be my children's inheritance, and they went to absolutely almost nothing in value. A lot of the things, and you just can never figure out. And what's collectible today is worth nothing tomorrow. And I think about my mother grew up with antiques, and when she first got married, she wanted all this new contemporary furniture, and that was like in the late 40s. And she wanted everything new and fancy and contemporary, and that's what she had. And then a few years later, she decided she did like antiques, and then she went back, and a lot of the antiques had been in the family and all she had. But you look at now, that's mid-century modern furniture. It's so collectible around here. That's like the most, oh, something flew by. That's like the most desirable thing, more so than a piece of furniture that's a couple 100 years old.
Judy says, I want some of those old pop bead necklaces.
Oh, yeah. So this is just, I'll do this first. This is just some little beads that I just put them on a wire and kind of twisted them around and made just a funny little thing out of, what are there, 6 beads? No, 2,
Oh, I forgot
4, 6, 7, what?
I forgot to welcome everybody to the group.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, John. Yeah, at one point I thought, weren't you supposed to do that? And then I forgot.
Hey, I'm pretty late. I forgot to welcome everybody to the Stand Tall Craft Group.
Did you
Christy,
take your
you should have told me. I forgot. That was not bad. My
Did
apologies.
you take your medication today, John?
Thanks for inviting us along, Chris. That's almost time to say it again at the end. But, gee, I'm so sorry that I was remiss with that. Hi, Linda G. Good to see you. Candy says, yes, many antiques value so low, but some cheap. McDonald's free trinkets have value. Crazy.
Yeah,
Nelda says her husband collected vintage liquor decanters worth nothing. They're just Dutch catchers. Everything catches dust.
yeah, we know that. We're in a dusty old house. So,
Linda G says, I love your pin cushions.
so I just put that little wire thing in there.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I'm going to get a pink slip this week.
I have to keep them. There's nobody else around. So I just stuck that in there, and it's just fun, and it's just, what I tell you,
says, but it's still fun while collecting.
Yeah, it's just a few little beads stuck together and a little rose bead and all on here. But while I was up here watching Crafters and all, I made that. So now I was going to go back to this shoe and try to finish it up, and that's why I wanted this flower to put in here.
I guess I'll be expecting one, Krista.
Yeah. That's why he always worked for himself, so he couldn't be fired. So I'm just going to put this, slip this right in here. And somebody was saying, I think it was Loretta, or I'm not sure who today, somebody said, oh, their husband always thinks everything's so wonderful that they make. And that's how John is. Whatever I make, he's very kind. Even if I screw up on a meal.
That rarely happens.
I'm so upset with myself. And he's like, oh, it's good. It's like good to sharpen my teeth with this.
Quarter of.
But any craft I make or anything, he always says, oh, that's so amazing.
Bernice says she got a pink slip today because she was late.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and I was late for Michelle. I don't know. I got all the...
before you're fired.
Yeah. I don't think they ever fire you.
No.
I know at my job, it was always like fear of getting this going on your permanent file.
Permanent record.
Yeah, this will go on your permanent record. I remember one morning I came in late. Well, I got there early. I used to always get there early, and I had to get the kids' food out and warm up all the ovens and get everything ready for the day and all this stuff. And I went and the office wasn't open, so I went back and I got all involved in setting everything up and pulling stuff out for the kids and all. And I didn't sign in. All of a sudden, like, oh, no, I didn't sign in. So I run up to the office. Just as I go to sign, they pull the paper away. And they're like, you're late. This is going to go on your permanent record if you do it again. I'm like, I swear I was here.
Gotta love that permanent record.
Yeah. Someplace it's floating around.
It's permanent somewhere.
Yeah, it's permanent someplace. They'll put it on my coffin. Here's your permanent record.
Candy says compliments are John's love letters to you, Marilyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
All three that I wrote.
Yep, all three that he wrote. But I'm just filling in some more. I've got that flower on there. To fool around with it a little bit. I don't know whether you can see it on the... Why is there a fly in here, John?
I don't see it.
Don't you? I do.
Where?
Unless it's a floater in my eye. No, there's... there. But if you... Do you see it on there?
Yeah, you see it. Yep.
Okay. But I just thought when I was going along, oh, I want this to look so Victorian. And I remember when my kids were going to proms and stuff, I always wanted to do the flowers. First, they're so expensive what did I knock down, huh? They're so expensive to buy, and I always liked, that little pile here.
Arlene says it's so pretty. Candy says it's beautiful.
I've had all these trims that I found. This one's got some stuff on it. It's so much fun when you clean out because some of this stuff I never saw before in my life. And some of the things I've just had for a really long time.
Giselle says it's stunning, Marilyn.
Thank you. Sometimes I buy a pig and a poke.
Pig and a poke.
A friend of mine, Tara.
Nelda says, you make me laugh.
Tara
Me too.
from Sweetwater Trade. She had an auction yesterday of like trim fabrics and doilies and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, you don't need to show all the bundles because it's fun to buy a pig and a poke. You remember that expression, you know, like buy something you don't see.
Hey, Lori, good to see you.
And then when you get it,
that's what it means, buying something you don't see.
Pig and a poke, yeah, buy something you don't see. And I said,
thanks, Sandra.
A lot of times when I buy stuff at the flea market, it'll be a box of junk, and they're like, oh, don't you want to look at everything? No, I don't. I'd rather have the joy of getting home and seeing what the heck I bought. And everybody's always astonished, aren't they, John, when I buy like that?
Yeah, me too.
Linda
G says awesome. Krista says beautiful. Bernice says love it.
But I'm just putting a couple of those little... So you don't need much. That's just like two of the little dingle-dangles off of that trim. They're like two little... tassels. The other day I couldn't think of that word either. And then I pulled a few things over here too. There was something else too I was going to pull. And then I put just some beads on those hat pins that I can put in here. But really, when you're dating somebody, it's a pig and a poke. Yeah. You don't know what it's going to be. It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Right?
I forget what that line was.
Yeah. Life is like a box of chocolates. Isn't that how it goes?
Maybe.
And I was going to put those three beads together like a flower, and I could use a little piece of wire and wire that together. Yeah, where you use hot glue, you cannot get a pin to go through. So when you do a pin cushion, that's why if you didn't see how this was made, I used the wool dryer balls, and that's what's in there. And a pin goes in really nicely, and it keeps the sharpness of the pin and all, because these are meant to, these are pin cushions that are meant to be used. I thought, let me put this in. There was something else too I had, John.
Candy says she can't stop looking and admiring your organized shelves behind you. Love the organization.
Thanks. Yeah, some of that I'm going to change up.
That's all the fabric.
Yeah, all the fabric. And I have another even bigger bookshelf full of fabric. And I'll show you through. I'll give you a tour. It's the problem being right now, we're going through some things that were other places, boxes, that are more sewing things and fabric and all that. And so each thing I'm trying to incorporate. But at some point, I'll just say, I'll show you, because this will be ever evolving. As we do other rooms, we're moving stuff around. Even in the doll room today, I took up some things to put on. I had all these pedestal dishes that John had made. When we had a store, he made a lot of them and sold them. But the dishes, that's like the candlestick on the plate, you know, makes a cute little pedestal. And then I have all those glass domes and all. And so I've been slowly taking them up and putting them on the tables up there. I want to raise this up a little bit. I'm wondering what I could put under here. I feel like, oh, I'll just use a little piece of the cardboard off of here. I want to elevate this a little bit. But I'm going to be doing a split screen thing with my friend Tara from Sweetwater Trade. And we're going to talk about tatting and things, because I tried my hand at tatting years ago when I was younger and didn't have shaky hands. And my aunt taught me, because my other grandmother did tatting, and that's how she learned. And so I have all the tatting stuff, and I've collected a lot of tatting, and so we're going to do a split screen tatting thing. She has a book and she knows a lot about it, but she hasn't done it, so we're going to do that. And I did a split screen with my friend Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. I did that a couple weeks ago, and we made yo-yos, these little things that I sew, little fabric
And it
yo-yos.
says you just never know when you're going to need some good cardboard.
Yep. There it was. Yep. Whoops. There it was.
There it was. Thanks
Just
for
wait.
the arts, Bernice.
Just waiting for me. Oh, little piece of thread here. But it's so much fun, and as I keep finding stuff, I'm like, I can't wait to show my friends this and show them that. And I found all these old drawing books of mine, sketchbooks, and I'm like, okay, that has to go in the pile. And then John hasn't done a live for a while, so we have something really different. It would be similar to the tour of the bathroom, like on that same kind of idea, just something different. If you saw the tour of the bathroom, you would understand. When I told Krista that I wanted to do it, she said, will that keep you busy for an hour? I'm like, yeah, it will. And then when she saw the bathroom, she understood. But
Randy says it's beautiful.
we have a couple ideas.
Thanks,
and
Randy.
John will do them. And then like a fun craft project. And
Now it's 5 minutes.
oh boy, well, time flies when you're with your friends, doesn't
Time
it?
flies. So now I have to say, we've been in the Stand Tall Craft group today, and if you're not a member, please join. It's free, and you can check out the other crafters. You didn't catch them live, watch on the replays. It's a free group, I think I said. And Krista, we always thanks for having us along. It's an honor and privilege to be here, and we always have fun. And hey, if you're not following us, give us a follow, and you hope you like us and hang tough with us. We appreciate it, and thanks for all your hearts. And you got about 4 minutes.
And it's great. Krista usually picks, this is the,
Kenny says, I just fought some away from my hubby. I said, oh, but it's really good cardboard. It's even white on the inside. I need it.
this is the antique gold rub and buff. And it seems a little pricey when you buy it, but it goes a long way. And you just put a little bit, if you're not familiar with it, on your finger. And see, I can put a little bit on the on my rose. And if you didn't see it, this rose. I used an old red wool winter coat first, and I washed it in the washer and dryer, and felted it, and made red roses. And then if you didn't see that, you might want to go back and see it before all those videos disappear. But this was a piece of white wool, and again, I washed it and ran it through the dryer, and I made this rose. But it looks pretty. I can go back and just put a little bit of gold on my flower and on some of the buttons here and some of the pins. And I was going to use some of my distress oxide to put on some of the things, just to give it a little bit of a vintage feel and take it to another level. Do you guys like this? Use the the Rub and Buff. I think it just makes things look a little neater, and it adds some gold. And I can put it on a small amount, or you can go heavy. If you have something that's silver and you want to make it gold, you can just do that. Isn't there a song, Silver and Gold?
Might be a Neil Young song.
I can't sing. At first, I don't have a good voice, and second, I don't have the rights to it. But it's kind of a...
I don't know. That was just a guess. I don't know.
I think it's an older song than that, but... And because my friends were always older, my best friend was my grandmother growing up, and my great aunt, I was friends with her, and I always liked older people, and most of my friends over the years were older. Now there are no older people than myself around, but
1 minute.
I'm just going to put a little bit of the...
Wouldn't that even be a striking centerpiece for a 50th wedding anniversary, sticking a wedding picture in the middle?
Oh, that would be, Candy. Yeah, this was supposed to be...
Lori says, hey, Burl Ives did a song called Silver and Gold.
That was probably Burl Ives.
So there you go.
That was probably Burl Ives. But that's why I was going to pull it out.
Cindy says, hey, Cindy, good to see you. She said, it's in a Christmas movie.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. That's such a pretty song.
Less than a minute.
This was supposed to be
Hey,
for
Claudia, good to see you.
a wedding. Hi, Claudia. Wedding.
Yeah, Giselle says it was a Christmas song, Silver and Gold. It was sung on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
But I wanted to use
Candy
it
loves the Rub and Buff.
for a shower and a wedding that somebody close to my family was getting married, and I was involved. But COVID hit, and
9 o'clock.
the wedding happened, but it was a small service, and we didn't have the fun of going. So I have all this stuff, and that's why I had that piled up, if you saw, and then you saw the empty floor. I got everything organized. So I'll go
Thanks,
back
Ada.
and
You too.
put a few more things on here, but I know you
Excuse
guys
me.
said you wanted to see me
You too,
finish
Wayne.
it.
Thanks.
And I wanted to show you the flower today, so I'll hold it up one more time, and I hope you can see it. And I should go over it and use my hairdryer on and get rid of the glue strings.
Thanks, Bernice.
But that's the Victorian flower. That was our project for today. John's telling me wave goodbye.
It's 9 o'clock.
I hate to say goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Krista, for having us. We appreciate all that you do.
Have a good night,
And
everybody.
I hope your eye gets better.
Take care.
Good night.